Hey, this is Pastor Rob Schmutz with Watchman Evangelism Ministries and Ministry Outdoor Adventures. And today is Thursday, September 9th, 2021. I, like many of you, either watched or heard about Joe Biden's press conference today and all of the vaccine-related mandates that he is handing down. You know, there's a difference between a president and a dictator. And what I will say to you is this man that is in the office of president is no president. And to those of you that have already been vaccinated, I want to ask you a question. Where will you draw the line? Because the reality is this is going to progress. Not COVID, not the pandemic. We already know statistically the pandemic does not warrant a global vaccination program. I'm talking about where will you draw the line regarding how this progresses with this heavy-handed, authoritarian, tyrannical, government-endorsed enforcement of vaccine mandates. You see, what's going to happen next is there's going to be an identification card, papers that you show. They already exist, that verify whether or not you've had the vaccine. And if you have the right papers, you can do the right things. You can go into the places where all the clean people are, all the vaccinated people are. And then it's going to happen that, man, these papers, they're just not going to be good enough, these vaccine cards or passports, because they can be counterfeited, forged. So then we're going to have something electronic, probably related to your phone, your device. And that's going to have to be shown to make sure that you have your vaccine. And by the way, just having one shot is not going to be enough. You see, the next thing is you're going to have proof that you've had the booster or the update. And if you don't have the update, you're still not vaccinated. Your status is not going to be a vaccinated status. You see, this is a ride that you are not going to be able to get off of. And then it's going to progress from an electronic device, because electronic systems can be hacked or altered or even made to also be counterfeited or forged. You see, they're going to need to put something in us or on us to really verify our vaccine and vaccination status. That's what's going to happen. You know, the Bible talks about something just like this. The Bible talks about something called a mark that's going to be on a person's forehead or on their right hand or wrist. Something that's going to verify that they have a number. The number of a man, the number of the beast. And unless they have that mark, they're not going to be able to buy or sell. Folks, do you realize what the president said today? It's basically, unless you have this vaccine, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. Are you paying attention? So what comes next? And what are you going to do about it? You see, right now, I believe, is the time for the people of the faith, the people who trust and love and know Jesus. It's time for us to pray, to seek God's face, to steel ourselves, to be like Jesus, who set his face like a flint to go toward Jerusalem. There was nothing that was going to deter him. There was nothing that was going to get him off track. from going to Jerusalem. And what was going to happen in Jerusalem? In Jerusalem, eventually he was going to be betrayed and tried, convicted, crucified, dead, and then buried. And yet nothing was going to deter him from that moment. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11, it gives a fast forward, a flash forward, if you will, of the end times church. And it says in Revelation chapter 12, verse 11, that they, the end times church, the end times believers, overcame him, the enemy who's been thrown down to the earth, who is enraged because he knows his time is short. It says that they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. That means faith in Jesus. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, by the words of their testimony. That means they shared about what Jesus had done in their life. They shared about why they were standing for Jesus. They shared about why they would not bend the knee to a world system that was deceptive and corrupt. They overcame the enemy by the blood of the Lamb, the word of their testimony, and do not forget the and. Because it says next that they overcame him because they loved not their life, even when faced with death. You know, there was a time in America when great Americans stood and they said things like, "Give me liberty or give me death." I think it's time for great Americans of faith to say something similar, to stand and to refuse to bend the knee to a corrupt, ungodly world system that wants to control you. As for me and as for my house, we will serve the Lord. What are you going to do? God bless you. God bless you. Keep on keeping on in Jesus.